Yo, 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 yo. Yeah. And I want to say, of course, guys, what's up, one? What's up, one? It's your boy Andrew Rayburn here, international mix engineer artist here. And I want to say, what up, and welcome to another Christy Production Live Wire show. And of course, if you guys want to support me here, feel free to go ahead and hit me up on YouTube here. If you guys want to learn how to mix Pro Soca in the box here, get my 3-part series curriculum here, where you learn the best of the best here and techniques here. Track files include here on my 3-section course curriculum. Soca mixing here, Pro Soca mixing here. And also, guys, you want to go ahead and check out my Pristine Production website here. Get the latest dancehall, soca music, reggae music, afro. Also, my new rhythm is out here. Turn it up, soca here, stems and MIDI included here. And also, guys, be sure to join my Patreon, where you get exclusive access here. Videos are not easily found on YouTube. And also giveaway. Join my Prestige to become the apprentice, guys. And of course, we also welcome and appreciate when you show some love by hitting up my PayPal and join my Patreon as well. But today we got a very special show for you guys here. We're going to be talking about mixing soca in Dolby Atmos here. Now, I'm going to show you guys how you can get that immersive 3D sound, go beyond stereo here, powered through Dolby Atmos and Nuendo 12 here. So let's get right down into it. And welcome back to the show, guys. I'm your mixing engineer host, Andrew Rayburn here. And today we got a very special treat for you guys here. Let me go ahead and just want to make sure I'll touch them some. So yeah, mixing soca in Dolby Atmos here. Now, what is Dolby Atmos, you might say, right? Well, let's take a little bit of a look here, and I'm gonna do a little bit of reading here. So let's go on the website here. So here we go. Now it says here, dive into sound, reimagine with Dolby Atmos, revealing depth, clarity, and details like never before. Dolby Atmos is a sound experience you can feel all around you. What is Dolby Atmos? Dolby Atmos has reinvented how entertainment is created and experienced, allowing creatives everywhere to place each sound exactly where they want it to go for a more realistic and immersive audio experience here. That's a Dolby. Now, a Dolby Atmos, guys, they've been around for some time now, and Apple is pushing it. It's already on title, and this is a game changer here, where you can take mixes outside, go beyond the stereo here. You'll be able to pinpoint, take your instrument tracks and move them outside the speakers. You can put them behind you, 3D sound, put it on the far left. Man, it's going to be a lot of fun. And all this is being powered through Nuendo 12. So let's get right down into it here with this immersive audio thing here. Now, this track here, I'm going to load up Nuendo 12 here. This track here is produced by me, but by the way, it's also available on my website, of course. You go ahead and check that out real quick. Turn it up. Stems included and MIDI files as well. So let's get into it here. So I'm going to open up a new window here. Not going to take too long. And all you need to do, guys, is load up 2 tracks, 2 group channel or buses. Follow me so far, because there are a lot of people on YouTube. I respect a lot of intel details and advanced stuff, but we just want to know, Ray, how can we get our mixes in that Atmos 3D sound? How can we move that stuff around? Is it difficult? So let me go ahead and show you guys how we're going to do that. So I'm here in Nuendo 12 here, and I have my track here, of course. Now, this track is all stems. I've created the track in Studio One, and I've bounced the stereo stems. Now, in order for Atmos to work, guys, you want to make sure when you're mixing your projects, you want to make sure, let's say it's done. Think of it as like, I want to say mastering, but think of it as almost similar to that fade. We're not mastering, we're creating that 3D sound from an already mixed stem here. So what you need to do, if you're in FL, Fruit Loops, Reaper, uh, when you mix all your tracks, vocals, everything, you can bounce it down on stereo stems already pre-mastered, because we're not mastering in Dolby in Dolby Atmos here, where we're going to immerse ourselves in a sound. Now, it's not immersive yet. I'm going to tell you when you can put on your headphones so we can see where this is going. So after you do that, you pre-mix stems, bounce it down, and import that in a new window. Following me? So I have my stereo tracks here. Now, a couple of things we need to know before we get started here. We need to go. We need to make sure we're running on 48 sampler rate at 512 latency on your DAW, your audio interface. I'm using Focusrite. So how to do that? We just click on Project here, and go down to Project Settings here, and you can see I've flipped it from 44 to 48 here, 24-bit, and it's recording in broadcast wave. And that's what I have set up there in order for Dolby to be working here. And just to make sure we're guaranteed it's going to work, I'm going to go on Project, and we're going to go down to, where is it here? ADM authoring for Dolby Atmos. And pull that up. And you can use a setup assistant as well if you want to. I'm going to click on that. Check this out. Audio settings right here. It says the SEO driver buffer size must be set to 512 samples. The project sampler must be set to 48. I'm getting it real accurate, so that means we're good. And so there's two things to talk about, guys. We're going to be using two tracks, two group channels, two buses. One is what you call the bed. Now, to break it down in Rayburn's teaching style here, the bed is what you call effects tracks. You can use that to send, not only your instruments are moving in immersive audio, but you can send 3D reverbs and delay on your instrument as well. So think of the bed. When you load up a bed, that's going to be for effects. You can use it for that. You can do it for other stuff as well. And what we call objects in Dolby Atmos is what you call, you're going to be routing your stereo tracks to these assigned objects, and these objects is going to be the one that's going to move your instruments around. Make sense? So that's what we're going to do here. So think of those two things: the bed, effects tracks, and objects is the moving your instrument around in that immersive space. Now, the other track I was talking about, two bus channel here, is the 7.1.4 group channel track. That's gonna hold the renderer. So let's think about it this way. Bed is the first group channel, which is gonna be the effects. The second one, which is gonna be, I know I've talked about objects before, but that's not necessarily a group track. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. The renderer, the Dolby Atmos renderer, that's going to be your main bus. So think of it as a mix bus. All your instruments, all your stereo wave files, stems, is going to be coming out of that renderer track. And the bed is effects track. That's going to be coming out of the Dolby renderer bus as well. We're using two bus. One to get all the instruments in, and the second one is also your effects channel, which is going out of the mix bus. Makes sense. I'm keeping it simple here, guys, so we don't get confused. So let's go back to the window here. So since we've mentioned that, here we are. I have three beds already, and one is reverb, delay, and effects. All I did, I went on project, add track, and we go down to group. And here you have configuration here. Now, in Nuendo or Cubase, group channel is what you call bus tracks. 7.1.2, that's going to be the bed. The effects tracks. When you're making the effects bus, to understand Dolby Atmos language, 7.1.2 is the effects buses. So you got to put reverb and stuff on it, which I've added 3 beds already. I'm gonna go back to project and authoring here, Dolby Atmos. There it is, 3 beds, and I can show you that on. Let me go back here. Let me show you. Let me go back here. 1 through 3. I can show you that on my mix bus here. 3 beds would be that 3 effects track here. So I'm gonna go down to. I'm moving as quick as I can, guys. I want to be a revolutionary here, showing you guys how quick we can get this thing rolling. I'm gonna scroll to the left here. Here is my effects channel here, or the 3 beds, delay, reverb, effects. So if I go ahead and I open that up, and you can see I have chorus here, and right at the top here, effects, you see the 7.1.2. So these are our send effects. These are not audio channels, audio tracks. These are the group bus. Reverb, I have a reference here. And they're on that 7.1.2. They're on the 3 bed. Now, I went ahead and created. I'm going to show you guys how you do it from scratch here. Project, add track. I'm going to add a group, and I'm going to go to configuration here. I'm going to go on 7.1.4. Now, this is going to be your mix bus, or what you call your main bus that the effects is going to be coming out of, which is going to hold the Atmos renderer. So we can render your instruments and that whole thing in surround sounds. So I'm gonna put I've created a bus here, which I call Atmos bus. So I'm gonna go to that. I'm gonna go on mix console here. So here we go. So Atmos bus, that is the same group channel. I already added that. So we have 2. We're working 2 sections here. We have the 7.1.4, which was going to be the renderer, which all your tracks is going to come out of, all your instrument tracks. And we have the bed, which is going to be the effects bus. It's going to be coming out of, which will be multiple effects bus, will be coming out of that Atmos bus, which is a renderer. Makes sense, right? Now, you might say, Ray, okay. So how do we get the audio now to get into Atmos renderer? So let's go ahead and get into that. Hope you all following me, guys. This is gonna be a great show here. So as you can see, I'm playing the tracks here. Now, none of these things is going to the renderer. So you might say, Ray, now how do we get these tracks to go through Atmos here? So let's do it. Now we're gonna now we already created the mix bus, the main Atmos renderer, right? 7.1.4. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go down to stereo out for the bass, and I'm gonna route that through my Atmos bus. So we have everything in Atmos bus. Let's see, even the audio, the vocal tracks here. So we're routing right now. We're routing everything through our Atmos group bus with the render on it. Makes sense, right? I'm just gonna double check here. Atmos bus. Let me pull up my my mix console here. So okay, so everything is routed through. Now, how do we route? Now, this is how we're gonna route the instruments to the objects. The object is gonna be moving object. One of the objects is going to become the live drums. One of the objects is going to become the vocals. One of the drum objects is going to become the bass. You get the idea. So let's get into it here. Now we're going to go back into authoring for Dolby Atmos, and we're going to be adding objects. So I'm going to add one. So let's see, we're going to use that for voice 3, and I'm adding another object here. So based upon the amount of, there's one object for voice 3, based upon the amount of instruments you have, that's how many objects you're gonna add. Remember, everything is in stereo stems. That's the way it works, and that's what you got to do. We're gonna use another object for bass. I'm gonna keep on going down the line here. We're gonna add one for, and you can see Nuendo is telling me it's in use. Okay, I'm gonna use one for pads, and it tells you which one it's occupying here. It's like buses, object ID 57, 58, 53, 54. We're gonna add. Let's go down the list here for the last two vocal, and the last one, this one here. So now, all of my instruments, my stereo stem is now routed to each object, and the window is telling me these are the numbers that's going to be used, and now we should be hearing audio. So here we go. Now, a key thing to remember, guys, go back here, audio authoring for Dolby Atmos. When you set this up, this thing is probably going to be on no render. Simply means you got to select render for Dolby Atmos if you're using the internal engine of the Atmos renderer in Nuendo 12. Or if you're using the external one, external software, then you can use that. But make sure it's set on render for Dolby Atmos right here. That's going to use the engine to make this happen. So make sure you got that set there. So now I can hear my stuff here. I'm not seeing any indication on the tracks, but I'm hearing audio, but that's cool. So let's go back to that. And you can see here, all of the tracks is now passing through. So as you can see there, guys, all of our instruments is now passing through the render. So now let's get to that spatial movement that you all been waiting for. So I'm gonna go back on the screen here. Now, how do we do it now, Ray? Here what we do. Now, this is the part where I tell you guys to put your headphones on, because we're gonna be taking a dive in Dolby Atmos here. Now, what we're gonna do now is go on the down mix, and we want to switch to binaural here. That's gonna give us the ability to hear in 3D sound with any headphone. For those who don't have surround sound speakers, I don't have. So that's where you. When you finish with that, I'm gonna show you how you can export the file. So I'm gonna switch to binaural here and play. Now you might say, Ray, okay, how do you move the stuff around? If you take a look on the tracks now, I play the tracks here. I can solo the bass. There you'll see a auto indication there. I can add plugins on that if I want to, although I'm not seeing any indication there. Now, how do I move it around? If you look at this here, you see objects. There it is. I double click on one of them, and here it is. This is our panner here. And if we go on this little arrow that points to the right, hit that. It forms up into a room, and this is where the magic is happening, guys. So let's play it. Let's pick a sound here. Let's use the piano here. So here we go, guys. We're gonna move the piano around. Check this out. It's happening on my far right. Hope you guys can hear that. I'm going to the far left. I'm going to take it to the front, take it to the back. I can also raise the height here. Over here. I can shorten the width. And I can set it back to normal here. And this is where the fun starts, guys. So I'm gonna bring this in here. And this is where this is what you call object panning here. Let's bring in the vocal here. I'm gonna double click on the panel there. Let me see what vocal I have here. I'm gonna put it out to the left. So what I'm gonna do some automation here with these vocals, so we can have a little bit of move around here. Pull this up here. Bring it back. I'm gonna hit right, double it for right here. That apart here. I'm gonna go down to the third vocal real quick. Now let's get to the other instruments here real quick. Double click on that object. Put that to the left here. Raise it off the ground to the ceiling there. Let's go to the other instrument here. I'm going to pan that to the right. I'm going to raise that to the ceiling. I'm going to go to the toms. So let me do a little bit of automation here with the toms here. I'm gonna have that moving around from the left. Moving to the right. Off the ground. Put out the back. Let's go to another sound here. Remember, guys, to hit me up on my join my Patreon if you want exclusive access to advanced videos here. So let's continue to have some fun with Dolby Atmos. And we got a kick drum here. And put that behind us. And let's bring a snare drum in here. We can also rotate them around. Maybe a little bit back to the right corner there. Second snare. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got here? We got some hi-hats here. Now you can hear what I'm hearing, guys. I'm sure you're hearing what I hear. I'm moving the hi-hats there. Let's bring the live drums in. I'm feeling like I'm in a room here with all these instruments. It's crazy. I'm gonna do some automation with a live drum here. So I'm gonna make it look like I'm walking around a drummer here. Raise the drum off the floor here. Let's get to another instrument here. Yeah, I'm gonna widen that a little bit more. Bring in the bass line here. And I'm gonna move the steel pan around a little bit here. I'm sorry I'm not talking. I'm just immersing this thing right here. Hope you're feeling what I'm feeling here when I'm here. Do some automation on the steel pan here. Drum moving around. Move the steel pan. bring in the pads here. And man, you can hear stuff moving around. It's crazy, guys. So we're almost done here. Now, what I want to talk about is sending the effects here. So like what I've said, I've set up the bed as an effect here. So if I go on my mix console here, I'm going to studio on mix console here, and let's say I wanted to send the. Let's see, what can I send here? Maybe I can send one of the. Let's say the live drums here. I'm going to send that to. Let me go down to the send. Double click. I'm going to send that to the reverb. So I'm going to go on groups, and there it is, reverb. I'll go back up. And I'm going to pull up this track here. Turn on the reverb set. And I'm getting that stadium sound there. I can send that to a delay if I want to. Turn on the send for that. Or I could actually put an insert on the channel. Now, there are some plugins that you can, as long as you have a mix knob, you can blend between the sound, but I like the classic way of sending here. So remember to do this, to set up effects channel, is make sure it's the bed. Remember, we're working two. One is the group, the main mix bus, which is the 7.1.4, which our dolby renderer is in. And the second one is the bed for the effects channel here. And all that is routing, coming right back out of my mix bus here. Now, let's say I'm finished with that. Let's say, okay, I'm happy with that. Now, here is two ways you can do this here. If you're finished with that here, you can go on project, and you can go on export, and you can go on ADM. And this is what's going to bring up, it's going to bring up the same window here. Export ADM file, export ADM Adobe, Dolby Atmos file, broadcast wave. Now, Dolby Atmos is going to put all the metadata, all the positions of these objects, all that stuff to be uploaded to maybe your streaming platform and that whole thing. That's where this happened here. Click on that, and it's going to create a broadcast wave format here. Now, also, once you're completed as well, if I go back on my mix console here, I go back on the renderer. Remember, we had a down mix on binaural here, so we want to set to 2.0 if we want to create a MP3 version of the mix here. If I play that, you can see the stuff moving around here. Now, it's going to sound a slight different. It's on MP3 version down mix here. But what we heard on the binaural section is the immersive how would it sound on a Dolby system. So do that. Down mix to MP3, and then you can just go on File, Export, Mix Down, and you can select the output here, which in my case, I could either just export the Atmos bus or just the main stereo out here, and the one is going to create that MP3 version there for that. Or I can leave the down mix on 1.4 here. And or binaural if I want to hear what's going on, and export it with the ADM Atmos command here, like what I said earlier. I'm going right here. ADM authoring commands here, authoring for Dolby Atmos here. We can do it from here, and it's going to take all this stuff here, all that stuff right here. Here it is, and create that Atmos broadcast file. So so what do we learn today, guys? I try to do it as quick as I can. We've learned that we're working in two, the simplest way. Load up two group buses. One is 7.1.4 to put the Atmos render on it, and we route all instruments to that. Second step, load up the beds if you want effects, reverbs. If you have stems with reverb, then you don't need the beds. And number one, make sure it's set on 48 sample rate with 512 latency, and select render for Atmos engine on your Nuendo or Pro Tools, whatever you're using, and use the objects for the amount of instruments. You can route it out, and that's how you get immersive with the sound. So it's been fun, guys. Remember to hook me up, join my Patreon, support, show some love as well. If you want me to mix and master for you guys, you can contact me as well. It's been fun, guys, and I hope this has been inspiring to you. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.